Welcome to today's resistance band for mobility class. I'm Coach Lindsay. Thank you always for joining me. So today, like I said, we're going to be doing a resistance band class for mobility. So that means that a lot of these exercises that we're going to do today are great for our joint mobility. We're going to be working on shoulder, hip, and knee specifically, but also adding that low impact resistance of the resistance band is going to help strengthen those muscles around the joint, which is very important as well. So it's a twofold exercise today. So let's talk about what you need. Of course, you're going to need a resistance band. For the purposes of today, I'm going to be using just a traditional resistance band that looks like this. A lot of bands like this have a attachable little handle. So if you have one of these, make sure it's attached. If not, you can certainly do today's workout by just holding on to that band. If you do not have one of these bands, but you do have one of these loop bands, I'm going to be showing each exercise in both. So I'm going to be using this set, but I will show you how to do that exercise with the loop band as well. So you choose whatever is most important for you. So let's talk about resistance weight. So I'm using my lightest band, which is a 10-pound equivalent. So typically your skinniest and lightest colored band, if you have a set of bands, is going to be your lightest. I would encourage you to start with that today, and then as you repeat this class multiple times, you can kind of up that resistance. Same thing with that loop band. Because we are modifying some of the exercises with that loop band, you want maximum stretchiness, which you're going to get with your lightest resistance. So make sure you have the lightest resistance in both. Second thing is make sure you have good grippy shoes. So whenever we're doing resistance band classes, typically we are standing on the band or we have that band up under our feet. With that, we don't want to have a flat shoe or even be barefoot, because the likelihood of that band slipping off of our foot is a lot higher. We don't want that to happen. So make sure you have good grippy shoes, and then make sure you have plenty of space around you so we don't have any tripping hazards. So now that that's out of the way, let's get started with our warm-up and we'll talk about the class today. So we're going to start by doubling up that band or just grabbing your loop band, and we're going to hold it right out in front of us and do a high knee march here. So just to really start to engage that core and get kind of handy and familiar with that band, also firing up our legs, getting the heart rate up. So we have 8 exercises today that we're going to be doing twice. First time around, we're going to do 10 repetitions of each exercise. Second time around, 12. So the nice thing about that is muscle memory, but also progressive overload. So if we add a little bit extra onto our muscles each time we do an exercise, we're strengthening that muscle fiber. So it's good to kind of build that resistance and that muscle back up. So first set 10, second set 12, but you do you. If you want to stick with 10, you can, or if you want to go up, you can as well. A couple more of these marches here. 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. You can pause your legs, stand shoulder width apart, grab that band, and just pull back. So just kind of mobilizing that shoulder. So again, keep that band chest length and just pull back on one side at a time here. So squeezing that shoulder blade as you pull back, keeping your back nice and straight. We don't want to have any arching of the back. So in order to prevent that, we want to make sure our core is turned on. So we're sucking that belly button towards the spine. Nice straight back here. Excellent. Man, those high knees got me a little bit out of breath, not gonna lie. That's good. Means we're warming up properly. A couple more. 3, 2, last one. Excellent. We can toss that band for now. We're going to do just some body weight warm-ups here. So we did the arms. We're going to do a little bit of the hips and the ankles. So what we're going to do is a high knee with a butt kick. So basically we're just going to stand feet shoulder width apart, hands on the hips. We're going to high knee, we're going to butt kick, and then you're going to switch. So high knee, kick your butt, and switch. So what this is doing is firing on both your quads and your hamstrings. Both are needed when we're doing these hip and knee mobility exercises, okay? So just a good chance to warm up those joints. Even if you did a little bit of a walk or a warm up before this, it's always good to just get that in. We won't spend a ton of time on these, just a few more here. One more on each side. Working on our balance a little bit too. Last one, up and back. Fabulous. Last part, we're gonna roll those ankles out. We do a lot on our ankles here with our hip and our knee mobility exercises. So if you need to hang onto a wall, you can, but we're gonna stand on one foot and just roll that ankle out. Nice and easy, nothing too crazy here, but as you'll notice, our ankles get really stiff. So as you're rolling it out, initially you probably have some snap, crackle, pops. That's okay. It's normal in a sense. So we wanna get those kinks out before we begin. A couple more seconds here, roll it out. 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. Switch sides. Again, hang on to a wall or a chair if you need to for balance, but if you're able to maybe challenge yourself a little bit, stand on one foot, roll that ankle out, even better. Go in either direction, whatever feels best for you. No rules here. Excellent. 5 seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. Shake it out. Grab some water. Watch and listen for now. I'm going to demo all 8 exercises with both bands. So this is going to be a little bit of a longer demo, but then we'll be able to kick off class, okay? So first exercise, we're going to be doing shoulder shrugs. So we're going to stand on top of that band. This is where you can see why grippy shoes are important. Feet shoulder width apart, the handles in our hands. We're going to shrug up with the shoulders, and then we're going to roll back. So you can adjust your resistance by just grabbing a little bit lower on the band. So if you feel like that's super easy, you can adjust and play around with it. Now, modification with that loop band, same thing, just stand on top of it. This is why you want a band with lots of stretch. We're gonna hold on to that band in the front. We're just gonna shrug up and roll back, okay? Same thing, excellent. Next exercise we have is what we call a banded pull apart. So we're gonna double up that band. We're gonna hold it in front of our chest, similar to our warm up. Instead of pulling back with one arm, we're gonna do both. So essentially we're opening up the arms, keep those arms nice and straight, squeeze the shoulder blades, and then we'll come together, okay? So similarly to the side, we pull out, I'm hitting my wall, but that's okay, and together. So it's gonna be the exact same thing with your loop band, you just grab either side. Next exercise is another shoulder, last and final shoulder exercise, wide row. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna have the band in your right hand, you're gonna step on it with your left, you're gonna give yourself a little bit more slack in that left hand. You're gonna do a little bit of a lunge here, and you're gonna row backwards like so. So you know your typical row looks like this. This time, we're rotating the wrist and we're pulling up into a goalpost motion, okay? So we're gonna do right and left respectively. Now the modification with that loop band, very similar. So you step onto the band with that left foot, band comes in the right arm, and we row up like so, okay? Right and left. Then we have abductions. So what we're gonna do with abductions, we're gonna get into the hip here. So we're gonna stand on that band, feet shoulder width apart, hands on the grips, and we're just gonna out and in, out and in. So if you need to have a chair or a wall close by to grab onto to make sure you have good balance, great. But really, we're just wanting to kind of get out and in with that hip. Now, your modification with that is having that band underneath of the foot that's gonna be traveling, have the band in the opposite hand, and then same thing, okay? So you wanna keep your hand nice and stationary, and you just let your leg do the work. So right and left, respectively as well, 10 reps. Last exercise is a standing knee extension. So what we're gonna do with this, similar, but we have the band under one foot. We're gonna create some resistance, whether that be doubling up or just keeping the band up here. And we're basically gonna act like we're taking a step up on a stair, okay? So we're gonna lift that knee, keep that foot nice and level so that band doesn't slip, and then we step down. So this is great for strengthening your knee, but also your glute, which is your butt muscle, which is nice. So just gaining a little bit of mobility here, left and right, 10 reps, okay? Mighty family, that was a lot. Actually, your, I forgot the modification with your loop band is the same exact thing. So you just hold the loop band and you step down, okay? All right, let's get into our shoulder shrugs. 10 repetitions, we'll have 15 seconds of rest in between. So we're gonna zoom through the first set and zoom through the second. So feet shoulder width apart, your pelvis is tucked slightly, your core is engaged, and let's begin. So we roll up and then back, okay? So as you can see, as you roll up, you wanna try to keep your back nice and straight here. We're here for 10 reps. You can stick with me or you can do your own as long as you're getting 10. Now, if, like I said, if you're doing this and you need more resistance, double up on that band or grip lower on that band. Excellent. Remember to keep your core nice and strong, your back nice and straight. So only your shoulder is mobilized here. So if we look from the side, we have a nice straight back, we raise the shoulders and we roll back. Excellent. 4 more. 3, 2, and last one here. Shrug up and roll. Excellent. Excellent. Now, whenever you're getting out of an exercise, you lessen the resistance before you step off. So never step off before you lessen that resistance, okay? So transitioning right into our banded pullbacks. So feet shoulder width apart for this. Tuck that pelvis, make sure your back is nice and straight, your core is engaged. We bring that band out in front and let's begin. 10 reps. So pull that band apart, squeeze the shoulder blades, and then slowly retract back. So the thing with resistance bands, right, is as we get into that exercise, it's easy to just, right, snap back. We don't want that. We want to slowly, time under tension, come back and then slip back into that exercise. So really be mindful of that. Don't let that band jerk you back into position. If that happens, just lower your resistance. You can kind of play around with that band a little bit, get comfortable with it. Excellent, nice and tall, deep breaths here. Squeeze those shoulder blades like you have a pencil between them. You're gonna start to feel this in your upper shoulders and your back. We've got 3 more. 2. All the way out, slowly back in, last one. Excellent job, Mighty Family. Release that tension, come out of that. Let's roll those shoulders up and out a little bit. Lots of strengthening going on in those little shoulder muscles. So getting into our first wide row set, we're gonna take that left leg, pop it on top of that band. Make sure that band sits in the very middle of your foot. You're standing on it, so it's not gonna slide much, but just out of precaution, okay? Then we give ourselves a little bit of slack on that left side. We have the band in our right. Get yourself into a little bit of a lunge and let's start. So it's kind of like we're pulling or starting a lawnmower, but instead of pulling back, right, we come up. Excellent. So squeeze that core, bring that elbow up and back. Really work on that mobilization of the shoulder. The nice thing about this, nothing is above the head, right? So we're really paying attention to that range of motion, being very mindful of that. Again, nice and slow as we come back and we pull up. Great job. 4 more here. 3, 2, last one. All the way up, slowly down. Release that tension and step off. Excellent job, Mighty Family. Go ahead and take a little bit of a break, 10 or 15 seconds. Not a lot of time, but that keeps our muscle going, right? Keeps our muscle endurance up and our heart rate up a little bit as well. So same thing on the other side. We're stepping on the band with the right foot this time, giving ourselves more slack on the right, and then we have that band in the left hand, okay? Whenever you're ready, let's go ahead, 10 reps. So we row up and down. Now I like to keep my hand on my core just to make sure that it stays nice and tight, it stays nice and engaged. You can play around with that resistance, but we're going nice and slow with these. Resistance bands are great for kind of low impact beginner strength training, so it's hard to not have great form, but it's still very possible. So just be very mindful of everything engaged, go nice and slow. Excellent, 4 more here. 3, 2, last one. Excellent, lose that slack and step off, shake it out, roll those shoulders out. We are done with the shoulder joint. Now we're gonna move on to the hip, where we're getting into those hip abductions, okay? So go ahead and stand, feet shoulder width apart on that band. Make sure that band is right in the middle of that foot. We're gonna start with the left leg, okay? So the right leg and the right hand doesn't really need to do a whole lot. We wanna make sure we have a good grip on the left. So let's go ahead and begin 10 reps. So we're just out and back in. Really get used to this at first. It's okay to rock a little bit, but what we don't want is this, right? We're not in karate. We don't have to side kick anyone. We're just letting the hip do the work. And we lean and put our weight on that right side. Excellent, lots of tension here in the hip and the glutes. That's where you wanna feel it. This is great for posture. It's great for just normal hip mobility. Excellent, keep that leg nice and straight. Nice and slow here, fabulous. 4 more. 3, 2, whoa, last one. Excellent. Come back together, release. You can step off the band if you need to shake out those legs, but we're gonna hop right in to the other side here very shortly. So whenever you're ready, hop back on that band. Feet shoulder width apart. It's normal if you feel some tightness in the hips there. This is our only hip exercise. We'll move on to the knees here shortly, but whenever you're ready, we're gonna do the same thing on that right side. So let's go ahead and begin here for 10. Doesn't have to go very far. So your first 2 reps might be a little wobbly, right? That's okay. As you're sort of figuring out how far you're abducting, what that balance feels like. Maybe you need to loosen your resistance a little bit. That's okay. Nice and slow. Again, you have a wall, you have a chair if you need to hang on to it as well. Deep breaths. 4, 3, 2, last one. Excellent. Nice job. Step off of that band. Let's go ahead and do some butt kicks. Shake out a little bit. Really, really good on the hips there. You're going to feel nice and tight there. It's okay. We'll do some stretches afterwards. So now we're going to hop into our knee joint, our last final 2 exercise before we take a little break and hop right in back into it for 12 reps, okay? So this time, only 1 foot on that band. This exercise, you wanna make sure that band is right up under that foot. Kind of let it sink into the arch of your shoe. Hold the weight or hold the bands up by your shoulders, and we're gonna go ahead and begin. So you wanna start with your feet shoulder width apart. We lift up that leg nice and slow, and then we step back down onto that band. Excellent. So keep your foot nice and level with the floor. Great job. This helps mimic, like I said, walking up the stairs, right? As you need to push down to step up on that other step. Really great for strengthening the glutes and the hamstrings, which are your butt muscles and your muscles on the back top part of your leg. Nice and easy up. Nice and slow down. Do a 3 count. So we do 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. That's kind of a good tempo to make sure you're not zooming through each exercise too quick. We've got 3 more. Excellent. 2. And last one. All the way up. Nice and slow down. Fabulous. Release that tension, step off of the band. You can shake those legs out a little bit more, about 10 seconds here of rest, and then we'll hop right into it. So again, this time, stepping on top of that band, make sure it's in the middle of that foot. You have good, even resistance on both sides. Lift it up towards your chest, feet shoulder width apart, and let's begin. So we lift up, keep that foot nice and flat so it doesn't slip. Excellent. And we step down nice and slow. Now, if you find that as you start to step down, your leg is wobbly like this, just lower your resistance. Give yourself time to adapt, and then you can add a little bit more resistance if you need to. Excellent job. Couple more here, and we get a nice rest. Well, a little more than a couple. 5 more. Excellent. 4. Nice and slow. 3. 2. Last one here. Up nice and slow, and down nice and slow. Excellent, mighty family. Release that band, step off of it, shake those legs out. We have about a minute of rest here, so whatever you do with your rest is up to you. If you want to stay in an active rest, we're going to start with what we did with our warm-up, right? So hold that band out and high knees. But remember, this is your rest. So if you want to take an actual rest, grab some water, that's totally fine. This is your time to do with what you want before we head into our progressive overload set, which we're doing 12. Excellent job on that first set. Now you kind of know what everything feels like, right? So this is where we kind of get to really get into adding whatever resistance you need to, or switching up that resistance. Now, if you want to stay with 10 repetitions, that's fine. You do not have to go to 12, but I encourage you to try it out. Excellent. We got 10 more seconds here. So we're going to get set up for our shoulder shrugs. Feet shoulder width apart on top of that band. Takes a second here to get on top of it. Now, hands start by your side. Remember that you can adjust your resistance just by grabbing lower on that band if you want to give it a try, okay? So we're going to go for 12 this time, and we begin. So we're shrugging up, down and around. As you bring those shoulders down and around, keep that back nice and straight. Excellent job, nice and slow here. Inhale as you bring the shoulders up, and exhale as you round them. Great job. Halfway, we've got 5 left. 4, 3, 2, last one here, up and rounded. Excellent job. Go ahead and step off of that band, release that tension first. You can roll those shoulders out, do any shoulder stretches that you need to, but we're gonna hop right into banded pull aparts. So double up that band, figure out whatever width you need for your resistance, and let's go ahead and begin. So we start with that band out, we pull out, squeeze those shoulder blades together, and back. That's 1. We're here for 12. Now, this is another amazing exercise for posture. What this is doing is really strengthening those muscles in our upper back, which we know as we get a little bit older, our posture starts to kind of sacrifice, right? And we start to hunch our shoulders a little bit more. So this is great to help open up the chest and really gain a lot of strength in that upper back here. Excellent. Don't forget to breathe. Great job, mighty family. Keep a slight bend in those elbows as you pull the arms back, but keep those arms pretty straight so you have some good resistance with that band. 3 more. 2. Last one, power through it. I know it's tight back there. Hold, and we come together. Excellent job, mighty family. Roll those shoulders out if you need to. Take a little bit of a break. Now, if you're doing more or less repetitions than I am, you have some time to finish here if you're still kind of working, but we're gonna get all set up for our wide rows. So the left foot steps on the band, we have the right foot in our hand, and you can determine your resistance here, okay? So slight lunge, lean forward, and let's go ahead and begin. So we row up, goalpost motion, squeeze that shoulder blade, and we come down. We're here for 12. Keep that back nice and straight. Take a 45-degree angle gaze on the floor, that helps. Pull back, squeeze, and down, nice and slow. Great job, mighty family. We've got 4 left here. 3, 2, last one here, all the way up and slowly down. Excellent. Step off of that band, get your slack, and switch over to that other side. You can kind of stretch out if you need to. Wipe that sweat if you've got it coming down your head at this point. Same thing on the other side, okay? So this time, right foot steps on the band. We have the band in the left. Figure out whatever you want your slack to be. Get in that lunge position. And let's go ahead and begin. So we row out and down. Keep your elbow nice and in line with your chest. So we don't want to have it go too far back, right? But we don't want to go too far up either. So we're kind of just right in line with our chest here. Remember to breathe. Inhale as we come up. Exhale as we come down. 4 more here. 2. And we're on our last one here. All the way down. Excellent. Get your slack, step off that band, roll those shoulders out. We're done with the upper body. It's kind of nice, a little bit freeing. Shake those arms out. Now we're going to get into those abductions. We have 2 exercises left, then we get to stretch it out, okay? So feet shoulder width apart on that band. So same thing. You have equal resistance in your hands, and then we elevate that left leg to start, okay? Go ahead and begin. So we're here for 12 this time if you're with me on the repetitions. Stay nice and balanced here. That traveling leg does not have to go very far, as long as you're staying nice and sturdy. Excellent, you all look great. Remember to breathe. Not only is this working on your hips, right, and your strength in your quads, but also so good for the balance and steadiness on that supporting leg. Nice and slow. I know it's hard to go slow, but trust me, that's where you get the most benefit. Excellent. 4 more. 3. 2. Last one. Excellent. You can lessen that slack. Shake those legs out. 10 seconds of rest here. We'll hop into the other side. So by now, your joints probably feeling a little bit. You're feeling it around the hips. You're feeling it around the shoulders. That's normal, right? That's why we do this. So you might be sore a little bit. That's okay. That's why we keep doing this class. You keep upping the repetitions and keep practicing. Okay, let's go ahead on the other side. Right side this time and begin. Now you may notice your balance is a little different on each side. So if you need a little bit of support on one side or the other, totally fine. What matters is you're doing the exercise correctly, whether that means doing it just freestanding or holding on to something. Excellent job. Nice and slow, nice and controlled. Great job. Ooh, so tight on those abductors, outer part of our hip. You got this, keep going. We've got 4 more here. 3, 2, last one. Get it in there, do it right. All the way down. Excellent job. Stand off that band. Shake those legs out, take a breather. Whew. Wipe that sweat if you need to. And we're gonna get into some standing knee extensions on deck. This is your last and final exercise. Then we get to cool it down, we get to stretch. Stretches are gonna be done on the floor. If you can't get on the floor, you can do all of these stretches on the chair, so no worries. But let's go ahead and get into our exercise first. We can't worry about stretching until we do that. So, band under your left leg. Get your resistance set to wherever you feel is necessary. Feet shoulder width apart and begin. So we lift that knee up, keep that foot nice and level with the ground, and we step down. Maintain that good resistance here in the upper body, and then we're stepping against the resistance from the band. Excellent. Great job, mighty family. Hold that balance. Even for me, it's a little tough towards the end. Four more. 3, 2, last one here, all the way up and all the way down. Excellent job, mighty family. Release that slack. Same thing on the other side. If you need to shake those legs out, you go right ahead, take a break. We're gonna power through this last and final exercise, and then we get to stretch it out, cool it down, and we're done. We're out of here. 30 minutes, done and dusted just like that. So right foot on top of that band this time. Set your resistance, feet shoulder width apart, and let's go ahead and begin. Nice and slow up and down. As an alternative, If you're able to get on the floor, this is something great to do laying down as you hold the bands, similar, exact same position, and you just extend your leg out. This is something really good to do on the floor as well. It just allows a little bit more engagement of that muscle because you don't have to worry about balancing as much. So give it a shot next time you take this class. See if that helps mobilize a different part of that joint even. Nice job, Mighty Family, keep it up. We've got 4 more. 3, 2. Last one here, nice and controlled, up and down. Awesome job, Mighty Family. Release that tension on that band, step off, throw that band aside. We're done with her. She did a good job for us today, but we're gonna stretch it out. So we're gonna start with some standing stretches. We'll kind of end on the floor. So we're gonna do some shoulder stretches. We're gonna stretch out that upper body because we did a lot of shoulders today. So take that left arm across the body, hang on to the forearm here, and then as your arm falls across your body, draw that shoulder down away from your ear. So we don't wanna be up here. We wanna be nice and level here with our shoulder. Again, if you're feeling tired by now, take a seat, do this on the chair, that's totally fine. I'm gonna stay standing because I know if I get on the floor, probably not gonna wanna get back up. So let's stay standing a little longer. Excellent, deep breath, bring that heart rate down. And switch arms. Same thing on that right side. Pull that arm across. Stretching is super, super, super important for mobility as well. So you can do all of these mobility exercises as you want, but stretching is really what kind of ties the knot, right? And puts the cherry on top of that mobility. You've got to keep that joint nice and flexible in order to maintain that mobility that you're working so hard on. So always remember, stay for the stretches, even if they're boring, even if you don't want to. That's my little PSA for this week. All right, let's go ahead and open up that chest. Nice and big, look up to the sky, 45-degree angle here. And then you're gonna go ahead and slowly round those shoulders. Give yourself a nice scapular hug. So kind of pretend like you're pulling those scapula bones apart. Round those shoulders. And then we're gonna take a deep breath and exhale as we bring those arms out. We're gonna do that one more time. So open up that chest, look up to the sky. Big inhale, and then exhale as we bring those arms in, round the shoulders. Excellent. And then deep breath as you release, exhale, shake those arms out. We're gonna do our lower body stretches on the ground or in a chair. So hop in a chair if you need to. Otherwise, we're gonna pop down on the ground. We're gonna do some knee hugs. So seated, or you can do these laying down. I'll show you both. But we're gonna grab that left leg and we're gonna stretch out the hip and the glute and the hamstring here. So if you're doing it seated, looks just like this. If you wanna lay down for a deeper stretch, you certainly can. Do whatever feels best for you. Nice and flat here. Deep breath. Really pull that knee in towards your chest. And then what you can do to further stretch out that hip is roll that knee back and forth side to side to kind of get a good mobility stretch here in that hip joint. We did a whole lot with those abductors. Excellent, go ahead and release that left leg. Same thing on that right. Bring it towards the chest. Hold that stretch to start, and then we'll get into the side to side motion here in just a moment. Excellent. Now go ahead and start rolling side to side if you choose. Roll out that hip. Excellent. Now when you're ready, if you were doing these on the floor, slowly come back up. We're gonna end in a butterfly stretch. So stretching out that inner part of the hip this time. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna sit nice and tall here. Take your time to adjust if you need to. Bring those feet together like so, and then bring those feet in as close as you can to where you feel that slight stretch and discomfort in the inner thigh, but not too much. So if you need to keep your legs out a little bit further, that's totally fine. And then whenever you have that good butterfly stretch, go ahead and lean into it. So you'll feel a nice deep stretch there in the inner thighs. This is absolutely one of my favorite stretches, just to, keep those hips nice and flexible. Deep breaths here. Excellent job. Feel free to stay in the stretch a little longer. You can take a big inhale and come up out of that stretch. Mighty family, thank you so much for joining me for today's resistance band for mobility class. I will see you all next week. Have a great weekend.